and welcome back to another speed build video. My name's Jess and today I'm building in Moonwood Mill on a 20 by 15 lot, and today's build is a werewolf shack in the woods that's also a formerly abandoned warehouse. So kind of a mouthful, but I really love the end result of this build. I think it's such a cool build, and I was able to use so many items from Werewolves, which was so much fun. I definitely think it's one of my favorite packs that came out last year, and I think it just adds so much to the game for doing kind of rundown builds, but also sort of fantasy builds as well. So really enjoyed doing this build, and I'm so happy that I got to use the windows and doors because they're definitely some of my favorite in the game. But because the brick detailing on it is so specific, unless you're doing a brick build, it doesn't really work. So I'm just so happy that I was doing one and was able to use them. And here you can see I'm just adding in one more roof piece to cover up the little stairwell. And I just loved the shape of this house. I think that it really works and gives you an idea that it's a warehouse, but also has like a uniqueness to it. And I love the addition of those Strangerville chimneys. I think that just is perfect and gives you the idea that it used to be a warehouse. But now we're working on some landscaping. So for the landscaping, I kept it really simple. I used items from Cottage Living, Outdoor Retreat, and of course Werewolves, just to add in a kind of foresty vibe. And those packs are perfect for bringing that idea through. One thing I always mention when I do builds like this, because I love them and I love doing the landscaping, is because I am from the Pacific Northwest, which this very much is a Pacific Northwest style build, at least when you go into like foresty areas of the Pacific Northwest. So I just really enjoy doing builds like this. It makes it feel like home, and I just get to kind of landscape with what I'm familiar with. So really happy with how this turned out, the exterior of this build. But with the landscaping almost finished, I do add in some items to the front of the build just to make it work a little better for gameplay and give you a few options on the exterior for skill building, as well as, like I said, gameplay. And I, of course, wanted to add some items from Werewolves, and I'm so proud of myself that I actually left a spot for the mailbox, because oftentimes I tend to forget the mailbox or tend to forget to leave a spot for it, but there's a perfect little spot by the rock there. So very proud of myself. One thing I wanted to do with this build was really make it feel like it was formerly abandoned, and a lot of the furniture in it was kind of found or refurbished furniture. And there's so many items that I found in the catalog that really work for that vibe. So I was really happy with it and pleasantly surprised. You'll see just throughout the build, of course, a lot of it was from Werewolves, because that's the style that they really seem to go with for Werewolves. But there's a lot of other items that worked, like that picnic table from Jungle Adventure that just is a little worn down, a little dingy, but is perfect for this build. So anyways, you can see it. We're now working on the interior, and I'm just picking out the walls and flooring, and I wanted it to be somewhat uniform. So I added in the brick from Cottage Living and also used the paneling and newspaper from Base Game, and I really think that ended up working nicely. And in the bathroom, I really wanted to highlight the black accents on the windows. So I used a lot of dark colors, and I think that it turned out really nice. And I actually like this kind of custom towel rack that I did using the pieces from Desert Luxe. It's supposed to be like a curtain rod, but worked really well to make kind of a faux towel rack. So I was happy with figuring that out, and I'll definitely be using that in future builds. But here you can see I'm just working on the kids' room, and I wanted there to be enough room for 2 children. Or if you just wanted to have a room that's set up for your kid when they're a toddler as well as a child, this would be a really easy build to use. But I really like how this build came together in this little room. I think it has like just the perfect combination of a little like shabby chic and also foresty kind of vibes, and using the werewolf bed and for toddlers as well as the single bed was so much fun because I haven't been able to do that yet. So but they're such cute beds that I was just so happy to be able to use them finally. And now you can see we're moving on to the kitchen. So it is a pretty small kitchen, but has everything you need, so still very functional. And of course I had to do some clutter since there was no shelves left. And I went with this red swatch that I thought worked really nicely. And I just love these jars or bins, I guess, from, I think it's Country Kitchen Kit. I just think that they're perfect in a build like this. And I added in a few copper accents just because I wanted to take that from the stove and continue it throughout the rest of the kitchen. And yeah, that's the kitchen done. One thing I wanted to mention that this is super exciting, and I can't believe I didn't mention it in my last video, but we are at the start of the new year, and one thing that was really exciting that happened right on the last day on New Year's Eve, I reached 1,000 subscribers. So that's been a huge milestone that I've been working towards for many months now. And it was just such a crazy way to end the new year because I just didn't think it was possible. So I just have to say I am so grateful to anyone who's taken time to watch my videos. It's so crazy to me that people come back to watch these builds that I do. It's something that I love doing. I've always enjoyed building in The Sims, and it's cool to be able to share it with people who are also equally passionate about The Sims and who just enjoy like cozy builds and watching the same stuff I do. It's just very, very cool. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you just so much for taking the time to watch my videos. It's so crazy cool. And I'm like so proud that I reached this huge milestone, and I obviously couldn't have done it without so much support from so many strangers here on YouTube. So it's just, yeah, amazing. But you can see we've made a lot of progress on the house. So I went ahead and built out this living room that I think is just so cozy and has the perfect like mismatched sort of elements to it. And I really love how it came together, this room. It's probably my favorite room in the build. I oftentimes end up really enjoying the living rooms in builds. I just think that they always look cozy and I want to be there. And I don't know, I think whenever I get to add a fireplace in, that's always like huge points for me, because I would love to have a fireplace in my house, but there is no room for it in my tiny little house that I live in. But we're moving on to the second story of the build, and I went for this like green yellow kind of color scheme on the top of the build, and I really, really love how it came together. This base game bed is so cute and just kind of was the inspiration for all the colors that I ended up using. And one thing that I did want to mention about this build is I did start doing this build on stream. So I have occasionally been going on Twitch and kind of sharing my process of building and hanging out with a few people who watch me. It's a lot of fun. So definitely feel free to check out my channel, and I would love to see you there on stream. And it's cool to be able to build with people and get different input, because I'm super indecisive. So having like a second voice there is so helpful. Yeah, but if you're curious, you can also see the VOD of this build on my channel and see how it turned out in real time. But we're moving on to the little study room just off of the main bedroom. And I just think that there was just enough space to add in a study that really, I think, made this feel extra cozy, and I'm glad, because I think it's also really practical for gameplay as well. But that actually means we're coming close to the end of the video. So after I add just a few more decor items, we'll be finished up. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day, a great start to your new year. Like I said, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the support here on my channel. It just means the world to me. Like I said, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.